Good evening. Grace and peace. What's going on? What's up? This Apostle T, Kingdom Media Foundation. What's good? What's good? Alright, that'll work. I just came on real quick to talk about Think King. We went over to the down to Georgia, Hinesville, Georgia, to do some ministry, and we ran across some great people down there. And it reminded me, it encouraged me, and reminded me that rappers, MCs, can still enter into worship. And I know that worship is a lifestyle. It's not just a slow song. Rapping mature worship. Say what? Yeah, sometimes rappers get pegged as the ones who just bring the hype. And even though we know that's not true. Hold up, now I got to turn it down because you got me echoing real heavy. I'm talking to the wifey. So, even though rappers are known to be the ones to bring the hype in these services, we need to know that at any time we can take people into the throne room and usher in the glory. And that's why I say rap and mature worship, because we can't be pegged as the ones that just bring the hype and just get people up and going and dancing and can't take them in. Now, we know that that's not real, that stereotype is not real, but a lot of people fall into that, or they let people put them into that category. So it got to be a whole lot of bravado, a whole lot of hype, and that's good. If your ministry is to bring people to high praise and get them going and moving and dancing, that's a blessing. But you don't just want to be just stuck in that zone. You want to be at any moment, if he wants to shift you and move people into laying prostrate on the floor, lifting up their hands, saying hallelujah, calling on the name of Yah, Yeshua, bless me. I thank you, I love you, I honor you for your goodness, being vulnerable, crying before the Lord, being transparent before him. Rappers need to be able to lead in that as well. So when I say rap and mature worship, I mean that we need to be able to shift from that outer dimension and be able to go in. And I was reminded of that when I saw the brother go in. The brother had his son. I forgot the names. But the brother had his son, and he was dancing with the children and praising Yah. And then he got to a point where he was just overwhelmed and full of glory, and he began to worship. And he shifted the whole scene right there in that moment. Now, some rappers would feel like, nah, that's not my flow. That's not what I do. I came to make the people party. Okay. But that's surface. That's surface. In our own life, we need to have different dimensions of worship and expression to him. So our dimensions can't just be on one plane, on one level, where we just screaming and hollering like that. You don't like people screaming and hollering all the time around you. Sometimes you just like to be quiet in somebody's presence. You just like to sit there and quiet and being quiet and read. Sometimes you just like to just be close to him and not say anything. So however we act in his presence alone, we're supposed to bring our intimacy, or bring our relationship, bring our fellowship, that presence into a corporate environment, so we can usher in whatever glory we live in. We can usher that glory into, so that other people can be blessed as a result of our relationship with him. That's the whole purpose of leading in worship. So you can use rap to get people's attention. You can use rhyming, and you can even worship in rapping. So I'm not saying you can't do that, but there's something to be said about moving into spitting your lyrics and moving into leading the assembly into congregational worship. It's something about where they're not just trying to hear what rap or hear the line or hear the cadence, but then they can move into being able to participate even if they don't know you. So a rapper needs to be multi-dimensional and can't just be surface. Or if the Spirit of Yah said, I know you had this CD and I know you had this track you wanted to do, but cut off the music and let's take the people in. A rapper must be not only just skilled enough, but have a deep enough relationship in order not only to hear what he wants you to do, but to be able to do it because you do it at home, because you do it in your car, because you don't just flow in rapping your lyrics, but you sing songs to him. You offer up scriptures to him. You give him back his word, lift it up to him, you know. And so I'm encouraged by that because I saw the brother do it, young brother. I saw him worshiping with his child, and I also saw him shifting, allowing the Lord to use him to shift the atmosphere so that people could go in and get some glory and get that deposit in that one-on-one time. And then everybody else was sensitive to the fact that this is what he wanted to do, so they stayed there and lingered right there. Now, I remember back in the day, some rappers, they were uncomfortable in that environment. This is supposed to be a rap concert, or this is supposed to be where MCs are spitting. Y'all spending too much time making this what they would think is a traditional service. But it's not necessarily traditional if you're going into glory. When you are in the presence of Yah, when you're in his company and the angels are present and all the saints of old are present and everyone from all different walks of life are present, do you think that everybody's going to be rapping all the time? You know, it's going to be some hee-haw people there. It's going to be some chorale people there. It's going to be some African music there. It's going to be some music from the Orient there. I mean, it's going to be all different kinds, but you can't just stay in one zone. That's my point. And I want to encourage rappers who are not singers to learn how to lead people in congregational worship so that the whole congregation or assembly can rise to that place together, so it can be a corporate blessing that's released upon the people. And I'm encouraging you that. Now, some rappers, like I know my sisters on, some of y'all prophets first or apostles first, you know, so you already know that. But I'm talking about those who may not have found him in ministry first. You still don't hear anything. Yo, Sharika, check back in and see if I'm out. Just turn the volume down. I have somebody saying they don't hear me anymore. Yeah. It'll begin in a moment. Here we go again. All right, let me see something. Oh, he's saying he can hear me. So, I don't know, VP. Okay, so you hear me. So we have to know how to shift and switch modes and be able to be multi-dimensional. You know, if you need to take them in with a rap, do that. If you need to take them in with a call and response, you know, Christ is alive. Then say, repeat after me, Christ is alive. If you need to do that, then do that if you're not a singer. Because some people might say, well, I don't sing, so that's not my flow, so I don't go like that. Well, you don't have to necessarily sing to lead them in a call and response. Or you don't have to necessarily be doing a whole lot of riffs and runs in order to sing. Some of y'all can sing, but you think that you can't sing because you don't riff and run. But that's not what it is. It's basically you just lifting up your voice, and it's not about how well you sing anyway, but it's about leading them to a place so we all can go together. You know, it gets kind of old with somebody just trying to hear somebody else's lyrics all the time. That's only going to minister to a small pocket of people who really can catch all the lyrics and be right there. But beyond that, think about it this way too. When you go into concerts or when you go into assemblies, you have multiple generations present. You have 50, 60-year-olds present. You have little children present. And so you have to find a way to minister to all of them at the same time and not to say, nah, I'm just targeting the real MCs right now. You can't think like that. That's why we have to shift from just thinking I'm a rapper to thinking I'm a kingdom priest. So I'm a priest, I'm flexible, and I can minister in whatever way he wants me to. I can flow with him. So If you have a problem with that or if you struggle with that, hit me up and I'll be glad to help you with it. Because I've seen it done and I've seen people be able to flow in and out. And also, I think one of the reasons why the blessing was so strong on that brother at the time is because he had his son with him and he was worshiping together with his son. And I think he was overwhelmed with joy by knowing that he was, I don't know what he used to do in his past, but by knowing that he was in a place with Yah where he was good with him and he was with his son. And I think that produced blessing for him. That did something to him and it emotionally impacted him as well. Which leads me to another point. Sometimes you can utilize natural things to stir your soul so that you can even go deeper in the spirit. Now that might seem backwards to some people because they say it's all spirit led, but he will touch your soul sometimes first to open you up to a place where you can go deeper in the spirit. So a lot of times you need to connect with that. Think about your loved ones. Think about your children. Think about your wife or your husband, or think about your mom or your pops. Think about some things where he brought you from, and think about where he's taking you to, and think about the people that he used to bless you along the way, and try to find a way to connect emotionally so that you can become transparent. Because the enemy will have you lie to you and have you to think that you're not supposed to be transparent because you're supposed to bring all of that hype all the time. In other words, he'll cause you to make you feel like you got to be in that hip hop state of mind all the time. Instead of just being in that, I come as a kingdom priest. Whatever he wants to do, he can use me. If he wants me to flow, I'll flow. If he wants me to pray for the people, I'll pray. If he wants me to prophesy, I'll prophesy. If he wants me to just read some scripture, I'll read scripture. I'm going to be like water. I remember Bruce Lee was talking about this one time. What is your fighting style? It's interesting. He was like, it's like water. Wherever I need to flow, I'll flow. That's why he was so awesome, because he didn't adhere to one style or discipline. He was open to be used. Now, we know he was on something else, but you get my point. I've been receiving songs lately more than anything, when I've mostly received spoken word in the past. To God be the glory, whichever he wants to flow. Exactly. And you have to look at him as all these are tools. And like you're a warrior with many tools, with many weapons. And you have to assess the climate and the condition of the place that you're going. And then you have to assess and discern what the people need. And then you just pull out the tools, pull out the weapons for whatever's necessary at the time. So you don't ever get stuck in a lane, so you can flow. And the more flexible you are, and you become flexible in your own private personal worship time, that's when you learn how to use it. Remember when David was like, Saul, I can't use your stuff, but I know how to work this slingshot because I understand what it means to sing praises to Yah and sing psalms and worship him, and then to protect the sheep and how to use my own equipment. You know what I'm saying? And so in his presence while you're alone, that's when you get mastery of how you can flow and how you can move and how you can get into those different realms. And I'm about to go, but I just want to tell you, it's different realms of glory. It's not always levels. Sometimes it's just different pockets and dimensions of glory that you can enter into. And so the more this is like different heavenly languages. It's not like it's a higher heavenly language, but it's a different pocket in a different dimension. And it lets you know that there's a different culture or there's different resources available for whatever dimension you go in. So you got just understand that and know that when you come to minister, you come bringing gifts. You come bearing gifts, bread and wine. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the people need, but you know that you're full. You're full of glory and you're ready to deposit it. So don't let the enemy distract you, make you think you got to be a certain way or you got to come like this. Just be free. And I tell you, sometimes the least gifted or the least skilled, I'm not saying that was the case in this particular situation, but just in general, sometimes the least skilled person can be the one who really is more efficient, more effective, more powerful in the spirit. And while people might be debating about who is the most masterful and skillful, then they may have missed how the glory came in. And that's why he says that he confounds the wise. And that's why he says his wisdom is not like our wisdom. The spirit doesn't move how the world moves. And sometimes he'll use something very simple to bring about some power. While, it can be real complex and be over people's head. Or it could be real technical and not really meet people where they are in their soul. So there's some things to consider, things to look at. Just know that he called you. He called you to be an oracle, but he called you not just a rapper. I just want to say that before I break. You are not just a rapper. You are a priest and a king. You're a priest. You're a royal priest. And priests have access to that oil. And that oil has different fragrances in it. It's been especially designed to meet the needs and to be used by those who we call to use it. And so get into that. Understand where the oil is. Understand where your glory is. Understand where that mixture is. And bring the blessing, bring the glory. He'll put his blessing on your rap ministry and move it from being a rap ministry or a spoken word ministry or a talking ministry to just be a ministry of glory. You just be a minister of reconciliation. You just be a glory minister, a glory communicator. And you'll see how it opens up for you like that. So listen to that, take heed, and let Yah bless you. I enjoyed that. It sparked me up. Anytime you're in the midst of people glorifying him and you're open to receive, he'll use all kind of things to download stuff in you. So this is just my overflow out of being blessed by these young people lifting up his name. So shout out to everybody that was there. I forgot the official name of the tour. I think it was the One Love tour, but it was Trey Searles and that's DJ Squib. Not DJ Squibbles. I'm going to something else. DJ Wiggles. And of course, my boy Stink King was out there, and some other cats was out there that I met. I'm rocking this shirt right now from Mike Merck, and it was some good people out there. So I was blessed by these young people, and keep doing it for y'all. Just don't get stuck anywhere. Keep moving on from glory to glory. All right, grace and peace.